All right, everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. It's the Mark G Show. We are a little late on our episodes tonight, guys. I do apologize. Yesterday was Mother's Day. We'll get all into that during the show. Please make sure if you guys are just jumping in and make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share out this post. And let's get the party rocking. That just sounded stupid. Let's go.
A lot of podcasts these days. Tippy toe around everybody's little feelings. The little snowflakes are fragile. But you won't get any of that crap here. Welcome to the Mark G Show. From political issues to cultural issues to current events and everything in between, we're talking about it. And we talk about it how we want, melting the little snowflakes. This is the Mark G Show, and this is Mark G.
What is going on, everybody, right now? What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mark G Show. First and foremost, I've already kind of did an informal apology. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for not recording yesterday for you folks. It was Mother's Day. Made a long trip up to see my mother. My eyes started burning by the time I got home, so I told Gary, listen, man, we're just going to record tomorrow. And I'm surprised we're able to get on today, but we're here. So with that being said, I have Gary over here. And Gary, brother, what's happening?
What's going on, dude? Everything's good on my end.
Fantastic, man. I got to mute all that. Man, everything's going good over here too, man. Yeah, listen, everybody. I'm not used to this whole producing and recording all at the same time. It's going to take a while. No, man, it's been an interesting week. A lot of stuff has happened, especially since when we first ended our podcast last week, things started popping off. And it was funny because we were talking about the abortions and stuff like that. And then later on, I think it was like an hour after the podcast, you sent me the information on the Roe versus Wade leak. You remember sending me that text message?
Yeah, I do.
So, we're going to talk about that, and then on top of that, there's a lot of other stuff going on, I want to bring up a touchy subject that just recently happened in my small local town here in Maine. I want to bring up regards to that and talk about something that I plan on starting, a little project of other content creators to help with suicide prevention. But yeah, before we get into all that, man, it was Mother's Day. It was a great day. So first and foremost, to all you mothers out there, happy belated Mother's Day. I said that to you guys yesterday, but like I said, we didn't record. But yeah, that's what I did. I just went out, flew a drone, visited my mama. They were all like, I wasn't recognizable to my brother's husband, which was kind of funny. But yeah, man, what you guys do?
As you can see, I'm slightly distracted right now.
You are?
I am, because my dogs were just losing their shit. I don't know. Did you hear that?
I did a little bit.
Yeah. So I pulled up my Ring doorbell because I was trying to see what was going on. And there was a random dog in my front yard, like pissing on my bushes in front of my porch.
Free fertilizer.
So my dogs are losing it. And my wife just went outside right now. So I'm just kind of like looking on my Ring doorbell to see what's going on. So I apologize that I'm distracted a little bit, and I sort of missed your question. What did I do yesterday for Mother's Day?
Yeah, man, what'd you do yesterday?
Talked to my mom. I chilled with my wife. We did stuff around the house.
Gotcha. All right.
Pretty mellow day.
Fantastic, man. Well, as everybody knows, we do broadcast live on all social media platforms. We have Kenny Bloom posting out here on Facebook, just saying he just got home from his game. He won. They won 10-6. Congratulations on the win, Kenny. Congratulations, man. I'm guessing Kenny is in high school. So yeah, congratulations, Kenny, on the win, man. But yeah, brother, it's insane. So I guess we're gonna start off with Roe versus Wade, man, because we ended our podcast talking about abortion and where we stand on abortion and what we think of it, and what our thoughts are on it. And wait, actually, before I go any further, I don't want to get the bananaed or banned off social media platforms. Right? Big tech come after me. Well, maybe not Twitter so much. Thank God for Elon Musk.
We don't know yet. We don't know.
But YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch Listen, everything I'm saying on my show right now is the thought, my process, and the opinions of myself, my brother, or anybody else that may come on as a guest speaker. And it's for entertainment purposes only. It is for you, the viewers, to use this information as you please. But once again, entertainment purposes only. Gary stopped saying his little facts. That's kind of funny.
It's all right. I'll just let it go. We'll let it go.
You'll let it go. You'll just let it just
Yeah.
slide.
Maybe I'll throw it in there every now and again.
Right.
Only when we have really touchy stuff right now, I guess.
Right. Well, so we ended our podcast last week talking about, once again, our abortion thoughts. And right afterwards, about an hour ago, you texted me about the Roe versus Wade league. And it's funny is because I kind of let that sit in for a little bit, and I waited till the next day, and I seen Facebook blowing up, right? People bitching, oh, baba, my body, baba, this and that. Well, first off, my body, my choice. If that's going to go with you for that, why didn't it go for us who decided not to get the jab? Why is it not
Greater
our
good, baby.
What's that?
The argument is the greater good.
Right? I guess so.
I mean, I don't buy the argument, but that's what it is.
But the funny part is, if people really dig into it, and my niece has even got okay, mind you, my niece is for Trump. She does not like Biden. She thinks the Biden administration's a fucking joke. She agrees with us on that, but she's kind of fallen down the bandwagon with the rest of them, thinking that
Who's this?
My niece, on my wife's side. But she kind of thinks that the Roe versus Wade is absolutely going to ban out abortion. If they abolish Roe versus Wade, she thinks abortion's going to have to be stopped and people are going to be going back to coat hanger days. And it's not like that, folks. It really isn't.
I mean, maybe if you're in like middle of Arkansas or Alabama, it might be like that, but
or Texas.
Nah, Texas is pretty progressive, especially in spots like Austin. Like, it's a very conservative state, but there's blue little pockets. I mean, maybe Texas though. Fuck, I don't know. I'm sure you go into like West Texas, South Texas, deep South Texas, you might be in trouble out there. I don't know.
But no, seriously, folks, Roe versus Wade, with it being abolished and taken out of federal level, and that's all it's doing. It's taking abortion out of the federal hands and bringing it back into your local state, where most of the stuff should be. And the federal government should not have their hands in telling you what you can and you can't do. I mean, that's absolutely bullshit. That's why a lot of people lost it on the mask. That's why a lot of people are losing it on the jabs. That's why right now, this does need to happen. Roe versus Wade absolutely does need to be abolished and does need to be brought upon the hands of the state and then brought down to the voters. The American people are the ones who should have to vote and make up the decision. Go ahead, my brother. I see you want to speak over there.
Oh, it's complicated. You know what I mean? And I think that's where the division is between basically people who the pro-life crowd is pretty religious, right? Like, and so like I believe their argument is like once that spark of life is created, like that's a gift from God, right? And you just gotta run with it. Like that's like your gift. And then the other side of the coin is people who, generally speaking, are not going to be as deep into faith, right? And so for them, it's not a matter. They're not looking at it through the lens of like a higher being. They're just looking at it as 100% like this is going to affect my life in X, Y, Z in ways, and they're not ready for it, so they abort or whatever millions of other reasons that they might want to come up with, right? And so you're people. We're trying to answer the question, or we're trying to come to a conclusion on a situation that's not being viewed as a nation through the same lens. And that's why I believe that's a huge factor of why there's so much divisiveness, is just you have people of faith who are just saying like it's like it's God's child or whatever. I think. I mean, I'm probably wrong, but that's what it seems like. It seems like you have people who are either atheist or they're just not very faithful when it comes to birth and like
Right.
being a mother, you know.
Oh, and not only that, there's a lot of sick people out there. As everybody knows,
Oh my God.
I'm big on TikTok. And I've come across a few TikToks where people legitimately are ecstatic that they did an abortion. It's like, are you fucking nuts? Oh, I went to a party, da 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 da, had sex with such and such. I got knocked up, and boom, I went in and got the abortion the next day. Like,
so that's liberating, right? For that person, that's liberating. So they feel like they can do whatever the fuck they want, and whatever the whatever happens, they can quote unquote correct it or fix it or whatever, right? So it's
right.
liberating for them. I think
It's
they're
sickening.
mental, but yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely mental.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, it's our opinion, but I agree with you. It's mental.
Yeah. 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 But like I get it. Like, and that's the hardest thing for me when people try to ask me a question on stuff like this. It's like, fuck. Like it's so hard for me to have a firm answer because I don't feel like everything is so black and white. Like everything in life is so damn complicated, and both sides make really, really good points. Both sides. And that's like almost literally everything. And
Right.
that's like, it's really hard to like hold a firm position because it's like in this situation, like, damn, you're right, liberals. Right. And then in this situation, like, nah, I'm sorry. Like the hardcore right guys are probably right in this particular example. And it's like, it's like, or like the most of everything else is in the gray area. Like fucking, that's what the whole life is. But it's just complicated, man. It's really complicated. And it's weird. And it's unfortunate that people can't learn to be empathetic towards the other side. Like that's really the problem.
Right. No, and I'll agree with you. And speaking of empathetic, that kind of does roll into the next situation with everything that's happened. Granted, depression has always been around, right? It's been here since the start of mankind. Depression's always been there. Depression, I believe, in my eyes, has gotten worse ever since the start of COVID, when the lockdowns and shutting people out. That's when depression, I believe, really got to a majority of people that probably had depression, and then it just kicked in even harder for them when they're being secluded away from their friends, their family, their lifestyle was ripped from them. So and I believe more and more people are still suffering from depression, even though that we as America have started opening up, businesses are opening, although they're maybe not getting employees because people still unfortunately don't want to work. But businesses are opening, lifestyles, we know it is trying to come back to normal. Even these states that are starting to get hit hard again with quote unquote COVID, they're not bringing back the mask mandates. They're not bringing back anything like that. You were chuckling, so go ahead, brother.
No, I got nothing.
Okay. So, when I think about this whole depression thing, it comes down to this. Just yesterday, 2 teenagers decided to take their own lives via Amtrak here in Biddeford, Maine. It was on the news. I believe it even made national news. What happened was the police came out today and made the report after watching the camera footage. The 2 teenagers were lying down on the track. And as the train got closer, they stood up and hugged each other just as they were getting hit by the train. I'm trying to say this in some of the nicest, respectful way that I possibly can. Number one, suicide's so rough on many aspects. Suicide doesn't really hurt, I'm going to say, the people who are doing suicide, because, they're in their eyes, that's their fate and that's the route that they want to take. What they don't realize is they're not truly hurting themselves. They're hurting their family. They're hurting their friends. And in this situation, they are now the conductor of that train. His life forever will now be the same. He is now, you got to live with that. He's taken 2 lives. Although it was not his fault, he now has to live with that. And the passengers on that train, their lives are forever changed. Although they may not have seen anything, but they now know that a train that they rode took out the lives of 2 individuals. There's so much there. And it really makes you wonder, though, what goes through someone's mind when they sit there and think that they want to take their lives. Alex Verde over here has posted the world isn't crashing, it's falling apart. I guess Alex Verde, world crashing, falling apart, both equal the same in my eyes. But no, suicide is getting really, really bad. I've seen so much suicide in the past 6 months from news articles, from people overdose. I even consider overdoses an attempt, a form of suicide, only because they're knowing that they are taking
only a percentage of them, though, because a lot of that shit is accidental,
right? So there's a big issue there, and you wonder if these people had someone to reach out to, if they legitimately had someone who they can call, they felt comfortable calling, maybe someone they looked up to. It's just one of those things. Like I can say I've never had anybody, say this to me or thought that they're going to commit suicide, but you always wonder when you stare at somebody, you see the depressing look in their face on what they're truly thinking. So a human mind is incredible. It really is. And it can trick the shit out of you. The human mind can really trick the shit out of you. I'm one of them, man. I'm so bad with medical shit.
You can trick the shit out of yourself, man.
Yeah, man. I'll think I'm dying. And all reality is just
like stop Googling shit.
Yeah, Dr. Google's horrible.
That right there.
But
I say stop doing it, but I'm just as guilty as everyone else.
Right. So with all that being said, though, when I was talking about how people looking up for each other, we're going to have a good conversation here in a minute. But where I was talking about how people look up to people, respect people, or need somebody to listen to or just vent to, a lot of people lately, especially if you're looking on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, even on TikTok, people are starting to look more up to content creators because they're trying to live through the eyes of the content creators, or maybe they relate to the content creator in some way, or they've heard a story that the content creator went through and said, wow, you know what? That's me. So I'm in the process of working on something right now. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I still don't really know my full plan as far as getting this up and running, but I am looking at creating a platform specifically where people can reach out to content creators who want to participate, being an ear to listen to, and doesn't mind someone reaching out to them that may be struggling with some type of life aspect to help them. Maybe not, like the suicide hotline, but in this case, be reaching out to a content creator that they respect. And with that, the website that I'm creating is Second Chance on Life. And the reason why I decided to have that domain, Second Chance on Life, is because, I know you heard that blibbling. I've got to mute that, brother. Sorry. But the reason why I came up with Second Chance on Life, to be honest with you, is because alternatively, if you're thinking about committing suicide and you are able to turn yourself around and not commit that awful act, you are essentially having a second chance on life, and you're looking at it in a whole new aspect, and you're able to gripe it. Because listen, we all suffer. We all suffer from depression. It's how we handle it and how we manage it what truly decides where we're going in life. I, for one, suffer from fucking depression like freaking crazy right now. And then that's mainly because, listen, I live a crazy fucking life. I've got 5 children. I've got a dog. I'm married, been with my wife for 23 years. But what makes it more crazy for us, we own a business. We went from, like you talked about, we went from living on welfare, barely working, to now we work anywhere between 7 days a week. Maybe once in a while we get a few days off, and we just recently had it where we finally got a day off together, but now that's being ripped from us again. And here we are now going back to where I'm going to be working 6 days a week, not having a single night off to kindle with my wife, relax with my wife, or have that husband-wife time. And we post ads. We can't find people because no one wants to work, or our business is just too rough for people. So, that brings down depression, but I handle it. I'm probably going to buy a punching bag. My wife was trying to figure out what she's going to give me for my birthday. I think
burpees, bro. You got a bike, do a shitload of burpees.
Shit,
don't spend your money in a fucking punching bag, dude. You don't even use what you have. Use what you have. Listen, bruh.
I'm telling you, a punching bag, man, handles a lot of things. It will handle anger issues. Yeah, I can get on the bike and hammer it out with my legs, but a punching bag, I can take, a piece of
You're
paper,
gonna sprain
whatever
your wrist.
I want.
You're gonna sprain the shit out of your wrist.
I'm gonna get boxing gloves. I'm gonna get boxing.
You're still gonna sprain the shit out of your wrist. And when okay, do it. Watch. I can't wait to say I told you so live on air. Because I'm gonna.
Oh shit.
Punching bags are dope though. Maybe you gotta get a speed bag.
Speed bag, yeah. Speed bag be pretty dope. Although I'd probably smack myself in the face with a speed bag.
Well, you're better off doing that than spraying the shit out of your wrist with like a heavy bag.
See, a heavy bag, I can tape whatever face I want on it. Like one day, if I get mad at Biden, I could put Biden's face on the punching bag and just fucking wreck it. Or maybe somebody else, a punching bag has many aspects you can do with it. But no, man. But on a serious note, though, the Second Chance on Life it's a project that I'm working on. I've already got the domain locked and secured. It's just a matter of figuring out how to integrate it and build the website to get it going and get other content creators involved with the program. Yep. I think it can be phenomenal. But as far as depression goes, man, it's a kicker. And I think it's getting worse every day. And with all this shit that's happening right now on either side right now, whether you're on the left or whether you're on the right, everything within the government, this greatest divide that we've ever seen in our country, I think is causing this huge depression spike and this huge suicide spike that we're seeing with it. Not even really just in our country, but
I want to say those are symptoms of a more general problem that's just like mental health, period. Right? Like, so right. That's how it's manifesting is through like depression and suicide. There's a lot of shit going on with mental health. It takes a toll in a bunch of fancy ways. You know what I mean? Like stress and anxiety do a lot of shit to people. It causes heart problems. It causes a lot of stuff. It can cripple people. It makes people so they don't leave their house. They're incapable of, maybe a vast majority of these people probably have mental illness and they can't go to work. Right. Like I talk to people because I'm in sales, so I make a lot of cold calls. I talk to a lot of business owners. And there's a lot of folks out there who have high paying jobs, 60, 70,000 starting out. They can't find workers.
It's crazy.
Like that's gnarly. Like to me, that's like, it's interesting. I don't know, man. I think the suicides are one of many symptoms that have begin to manifest more and more and more because of, I don't know if it's a global crisis, because I don't know the stats of other countries or whatever.
Right.
I mean, I could just Google it, but it's just, I think mental health is on the decline. And less people are getting out in the sun, less people are eating healthy, less people are exercising. The ones who are doing it, right? Like you got caught, you're not exercising.
No,
like you're supposed to, but I'm always going to give you shit for that, right?
Like you're supposed to,
yeah. But your diet has improved, and you've lost a shitload of weight, and like your health has improved, and I'm sure your mental health has improved because if your body feels better, your brain's going to feel better,
right?
That's just how it goes, and it's like people feel like shit, and then they're getting negativity thrown at them all day online. They can't go to work, and if they do, it's a bunch of problems at work because the economy's struggling a little bit, and we got some supply chain problems, and we got not a lot of people working, so the ones who are working have more workload, so they're burnt the fuck out. They're not eating right, they're not getting the right exercise, they're not sleeping right. Of course they hate their life. Of course they're fucking choosing to kill themselves. Like, it's a problem. Like, that's a fucking problem. And we need to figure out the root of the problem. And we need to find creative ways and fun ways, whether it's being content creators or otherwise, to help these folks who are struggling with these issues that are leading them to take their lives. Like there's shit that can be done in the middle to minimize that number. Hopefully,
No, and I agree. There's got to be other ways. The mental health industry, as far as like people out there to help has diminished quite a bit. There's a lot less people from what I've been reading that's going to college to get more degrees and stuff. More people, are kind of going. There's even trade jobs that are losing. Welding's. There's not.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the one I'm talking about. $70,000 to start out in welding. That was one guy that I was talking to because home remodeling stuff is my market. So I talked to a lot of these guys, and they have these like, is that blue collar? Is like welding and like carpentry?
Yeah, that's blue collar.
That's blue collar. So that tradesman type stuff is like, it breaks my heart to see so much unemployment in that, because that's really good money. And those skills are badass to have. When you know how to fucking weld, you can make some cool shit.
Right.
Like, and you get to play with some badass equipment. Like, that's a rad job. That is a really cool job. I don't care.
It's a real life lightsaber you get to play with, man.
Dude, you're playing with fire. Like, that shit is cool. It's so hot. It fucking takes metal and it turns it into one, like individual metal components into one. That's dope. Like, I don't know why more people don't do that shit.
Dude, they do make some cool shit. When when school opened back up, when COVID was the whole big thing, we were spraying schools. That was one of the ways that we had to move our business around, so we were still making money because we weren't able to clean our locals.
Yeah, you had to get creative.
We got creative, so we were spraying schools, and we did the high school. And one of the things we had to do is when we go into the metal shop, and the stuff that these teenagers create is phenomenal. Like, it's literally phenomenal. Someone's like, wow, a teenager made that, man. That, they are truly our future.
They're clever, dude. Like, I remember being a teenager, and like, teenagers are ingenuitive. Is that a word? They have ingenuity. They're clever. They're creative. You know what I mean? They look at problems through a lens that maybe hasn't been refined. And like that lack of experience kind of can sometimes bridge gaps. You know what I mean? Like, they can, those creative out of the box thinkers are the ones I think that can, when they're, who was it? Zuckerberg, I think. As much as I hate this guy, I was watching an interview on something that he was looking for when he was hiring employees, and he hired like a couple of guys who were engineers to do software development. And like, they're just really smart guys, and they could just figure shit out. So they learned how to computer program, like, for the web. But like, they took like an engineering approach, like, to learn a new skill, and to like, they were creatives. They were intelligent, like, constant learners.
Right.
And it's like, those people are everywhere. Like, you can find really smart people in accounting, and they could do really well in engineering or business. You could, like, there's a lot of those people.
Right. And go back to the creativeness of teenagers, though. And that's one of the other biggest spikes where we're seeing suicides within teenagers. And people got to realize they got tough skin, but they're also the most fragile right now, because they're coming into a world, especially teenagers right now. They were living this once free will type of a country or world, I should say. And then they went to this complete shutdown away from their friends, their family, this big social aspect. Because as a teenager, man, I was social. I know my son, not really much my daughter, but like my boys were very social, out with friends, hanging out with friends. This happened. I could see the change in them as far as the lack of motivation. And then, of course, they went into this whole virtual side of thing. Now it's in front of the Xbox, in front of the PlayStation, in front of the computer. Oh, I don't have to have a job because I can be a content creator type of mentality. But granted, yes, you can become a content creator, but the problem is it takes money to get there, to get the stuff you need to build up to be that content creator who makes $100,000 to $200,000 a year, if not more.
And the thing, the younger kids who are seeing this, like, they need to understand, like, a lot of these content creators have jobs. Like, they have full-time jobs.
They do.
Right? Like, you have a more than full-time job.
I do.
Right? Like, there's a lot of people out there. Like, I follow a lot of people, lot of folks in the health and wellness, fitness, physical therapy, whatever, that world. And there are some channels where like these are PhDs. These are guys who are like full time, and on top of that, they're PhDs, so they're ridiculously educated, and they're like practicing medicine or therapy or whatever the fuck their technique is, right? And on top of that, they have a family that they have to take care of, and they're creating content. That is ridiculously important and impressive. And like on top of all of that stuff, they don't have excuses for like not raising their children well with good rules. They eat healthy. Right. So it's like, these are people who are like, that's discipline. And they're the ones who are creating content. Like the ones who just start out with a simple phone and they hit a home run. That's a unicorn. Like that's so few and far between. And the kids don't understand that. Kids who are looking at content creators and they want to be one. It's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than people realize. And most of the folks doing it are doing it in addition to like 40 other things.
Right. So and talk about a lot of work and how much work it takes for someone to hit it big. As much as I love this guy, want to plug him out a little bit, is Mr. Beast. If everybody goes back and looks up Joe Rogan's interview with Mr. Beast and listen at how he started his career, it's phenomenal. It's like he started and he, like he said, he hit a home run, but he did it, but he put a lot of work into it. When his mom thought he was in college, he was sitting in his car editing videos and stuff like that. Like it takes a lot of work to edit videos. You can't do like what I'm doing right here and recording a podcast just raw and unedited and expect to get 1 million people. I know it's not going to happen. But you know, you gotta, he put this,
that guy took a big risk, and it's like, that's the unicorn. He's the unicorn. And that's like, and his story is really motivational, and people hear that and they're like, fuck it, I'm going to take my parents' money and I'm going to sit in the parking lot of my school and I'm just going to edit videos and be like Mr. Beast.
Right.
I'm sorry. That was his path. You need to find your own path, and your path will either be cool and clever and unique like that, or it might be a little more mainstream. Like maybe you need to go to school and get a degree and build a network, because that's really what school is. You build a network of people who are really capable and talented, and they go into the workforce and they become CEOs. And then, hey, remember when we graduated in 2017 and we were the cool class and fucking whatever? Like, that's what it's about. You learn some skills, you learn how to think, you build a network. Like you work on a 5-year project and it's your degree. Like, like it's not everybody's gonna do it like Mr. Beast,
right? Not everybody's gonna make it big. You can make a comfortable living, or you can make a little bit, just compensate. For instance, listen,
but you're probably gonna need a job. You're probably gonna need a job. I'm sorry, you're probably gonna need a full-time job.
With him saying that, let me explain this. As everybody knows, I own my own business here in my state. I also do podcasting. I'm also a content creator, and I guess you can say I'm a social media influencer on TikTok.
And a full-time father.
And a full-time father to 5 kids, and a husband, and a father of a dog. So I say 6 kids because a dog's a kid.
Yeah, they count kind of.
So listen, and I do this, and everything that I've made decent. Don't get me wrong, I've made decent off TikTok, which has helped me grow my podcast equipment. It has helped me get the equipment needed to keep the podcast going and to make it grow, a better equipment to make a better show to everybody. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm making a comfortable living. And sometimes though, I've got to grind for a few hours, 4 to 5, maybe even 6 hours straight on freaking TikTok to get a decent amount of cash, or just sit there and make, okay, I'm going to bank on that till next time I go live in order to make it. Making millions, or even $40,000 to $50,000 while on social media as being a little guy, someone starting out, it's not going to be possible really, unless you get, like Gary said, that unicorn. Alex Verde just posted on YouTube too, saying, I feel like being a content creator, you have to be tough or able to face judgment. And you are in a way right about that. But I mean, you got to be able to face judgment, because there are going to be people out there that come out and bash you. Everybody's going to have haters. I don't care who you are in life. You are going to have haters. So you got to have tough skin for that. And once again, though, that kind of boils down to, if you look at what we're talking about,
tough could also be just fucking tough enough to be disciplined to do the work.
right?
Like anybody can do a video, anybody can go live, anybody can edit. But can you do it for 5 years when you have 17 views every 43rd video? Can you get up every fucking day and grind and put in that work for 5 years with 0 results? And then maybe one day one of your pieces hits? That's tough.
Right.
To me, that's how I like when he says tough and face judgment. That tough to me is, do you have what it takes to grind for 5 years with nobody giving a shit about 7 seconds of your content? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Do you have that? Are you tough enough?
Right. No, and that's
like, that's hard, right?
It's a grinding game, right? It's a grinding game. You're gambling. You're essentially gambling when you're trying to get out into this whole social media world. But it also does lead down to a couple other things. And once again, it kind of boils down to what we were talking about, early depression, because there are a lot of people that can't handle negativity.
Exactly.
And a lot of stuff you're going to approach when you come to online, when you come to social media, you try to be this content creator, you are going to come across some people that are going to slam you with negativity, try to bring you down. Because listen, folks, in this world, we live in a fucked up world where people will get their jollies off. They will sit there with their hand on their freaking dick, jacking off, because they're feeling the pleasure of bringing you down. Oh, I'm making them sad. Yeah. It's people get their jollies off for that. And that's sickening. That is absolutely sickening. Listen, I like to encourage everybody to do what they want, but at the same time, like my kids, I'm tough. Listen, I know my 2 older kids right now in this house would love to be content creators. And I know that's one of the things they're trying to do. But at the same time, when they're underneath my roof, they've got to hold either A, full-time in school, or a full-time job while they're building it up. It's just how it is. There's bills to be paid. There's food to be put in the stomach. There's
clothes. I think both of them chose work, huh?
Actually, well, I don't know, my son that's about to graduate, what his choices are yet. He may still go in the military. It's unknown at this point. Or he may, I'm not thinking it's that route anymore.
Yeah.
He could choose work, or he could choose college. I mean, hey, college life, is a good
trade school, bro. It's not about, you don't need to go get your bachelor's and fucking communications.
No, man, he could
go learn how to fucking weld.
Go to welding, learn underwater welding.
Dude, and then be a mechanic. Like, there's nothing wrong with that shit. I had a buddy who was a mechanic on fucking jet engines.
No shit.
That's badass. Like, you get a lot of opportunities in life that are not going to be presented to a normal schmuck. Like, I don't care how cool your fucking bachelor's degree is. You're not working on jet engines. You can't tell me how an F fucking 14, I don't think anyone can anymore, but like, you're not working on the new F-35s, you're not turning wrenches on a Boeing. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know, man. I just feel like there's something cooler than a bachelor's degree.
Right. No, and I agree with you. I mean, granted, yes, we need people out there with bachelors, especially people.
No, we don't.
With doctors.
No, we don't.
We need surgeons with bachelors.
Whatever. That's a very, like,
somebody's going to cut me open to have a bachelor degree.
If you're going to be a doctor, right? That's cool. But you don't need to get your bachelor's in business or communications or psychology or marketing or writing or literature. Like, you just don't. I'm sorry. We don't need another guy that can memorize all the mathematical formulas to tell me about Venus's fucking orbit. We just don't. Like, you want to be a rocket scientist, do it. That's cool. Or fucking learn how to weld cool shit and then work with rocket scientists.
Is it like the guys that do our doomsday clock or whatever? Aren't they like all bachelor degree holders too?
Good for them. So you got to get your bachelor's to get above. a bachelor's, right? Like if you're going to get your master's, you need that. But for the folks that are going for a higher education, like be willing to take on $240,000 in student debt and don't put that shit on the nation. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like go to a trade school and make your schooling cost you $80,000, and then you'll get out and you'll start at maybe $80,000, and you'll be able to pay that shit off a hell of a lot faster than your stupid bachelor's in communications. And then you're going to end up being a sales manager that everybody hates.
Is that speaking personal experience?
Yes.
I kind of felt that. I kind of felt that strong emotion right there. I felt it. The power.
Right? So much anger. But I don't know. Like there's better ways to make yourself mentally capable and mentally happy than.
No, I hear you, man. I absolutely hear you. There's definitely more stuff out there. There's like what we got. John Tibbetts coming in here.
There it is. That's the standard Tibbetts.
Yeah, that's the standard Tibbetts.
He came in the other week with like a real comment. I was a little concerned. I think he probably got his account hacked.
He must have been a little high last week when he sent us a message, because it was all like, so now he's coming around.
He's
on
back
Facebook. For those who are only listening to the show, like on Wisdom or on podcast channels, John Tibbetts just posted on Facebook, says, does Mark G have a degree in custodial engineering? Is that even a thing, John Tibbetts?
I mean, 10 years, right? Do you want a degree, or do you want the guy with a decade worth of experience?
Right. So I've got about 10 years worth of cleaning underneath my belt, starting off from residential cleaning from we first ever started our company to now doing commercial cleaning for 8 years.
So would that be that's like a degree in like Hard Knocks University, right?
Yeah, it's definitely Hard Knocks
University. A decade in the field, that's Hard Knocks certified for sure.
That's it. As we move further here, I do want to let people know who's listening on Wisdom. It looks like we got about 31 people on the Wisdom app. Folks, if you'd like to chime in with anything that we've discussed so far on the show, feel free to chime in. We do open up our show to everybody. Just please know that this is a recorded show, and it will be uploaded to all the podcast platforms by tomorrow morning. But yeah, man, it's crazy, right? So, and that's why, I don't know. That's why I feel like we do need more stuff to help people out. As far as depression goes, we were getting funny talking about this trades and stuff like that. And it's getting harder out there. It's harder for a lot of people, a lot harder right now for managers. And it's a lot harder for businesses to find these employees. What's making these people not want to work is blowing my mind. As we were talking about before we started recording the show, we were like, hey, we're going to wait till we start recording. Because I was talking to you about how I found it so fucking funny that I was at 7-Eleven and that's got a now hiring sign on it. And there's a guy standing on the freaking sidewalk begging for money. Like, in my eyes, wait a minute. If you are that hard up for money, why can't you just walk in that store, fill out a job application? Granted, you're not going to get your money that day, but you fill out a job application, get to work, and make money the right way. Work for a living.
Well,
be what?
He doesn't want to make money. He just wants money.
That is true. Yeah.
He just wants money. Everybody just wants money. Nobody wants to work for money. They just want money.
Damn.
That's ridiculous.
That's incredible. Dude, that pisses me off. So for everybody know,
did you ever do the Mickey D's job?
Yes, man. This is why it's pissing me off. I'm about ready to go on a fucking full-blown rant. So listen, for those who are listening on Wisdom on Apple and Spotify, John Tibbetts just posted on Facebook, says McDonald's is hiring $17 an hour to start in Westbrook. Y'all know how much that shit pisses me off? When I worked McDonald's back when I was freaking 15 to 16 years old, I was making $5 to $6 fucking dollars an hour. And to see that McDonald's is hiring for $17 an hour to flip fucking burgers and throw fries in a damn bag, that shit fucking, man, what?
Man, that's pretty, that's a nice paycheck for not doing much.
So Alex Very just asked me a question on YouTube. He goes, I have a question. You have a business, right? Yes, Alex, I definitely do have a business. If you do, if it grows big, would you keep it local or go national? To be honest with you, Alex, on the stress of my heart, my anxiety and everything, I would probably keep my business local, but I would be willing to help anybody. And Gary can contest to this, to help anybody start up their business, to help send them in
That's
the right
called
direction.
consulting, Mark. And I've been telling you to do that for a long time.
Yes, I know you have.
You say this is something you will do, I will punch you virtually.
He's got
through these cameras, and I will go from Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine digitally and whoop your ass, man.
Well, listen, man, you know, I'm down to help anybody start up a business, man. It takes a lot, right? But I have the experience. I know where I started. I know I started my business with like $50, man. I started my business with $50. And I'm now to the point where, like I said, last year, my wife and I finally purchased our first fucking home.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a guy, man. Like I said, I was on welfare.
Yeah, you'd had food stamps, right?
Yeah, man. I got food stamps. I got TANF. I got it all, man, when I was down. You know, we had it all. It helped us. Granted, we had kids. We were young. My credit score was like 300. We had to build our shit up, man, from ground up. And that's why when I see people saying, oh, we're oppressed or white privilege, listen, I'm about ready to go on a full blown right now. When people say white privileged or shit like, what the fuck is white privilege? Number one, I want to know what it is, because I'm telling you right now, I'm not fucking privileged. Not for fucking one bit. I busted my ass to get where I'm at today. And I'm still not I'm satisfied, but I'm not satisfied where I'm at. I know I can be better at it. I just need to know where my certain steps need to be, because obviously there's something going on, whether it's with the current situation, with everything still going with COVID, because I still had employees issues before, but I didn't have employee issues as bad as I do now since COVID hit. Now it's even harder for me to find people to work. It seems like people have gotten, I don't want to word this without making it sound bad.
I'll make it sound bad. What are you trying to say? I say people are lazy as shit right now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's
people are entitled. They're complacent. There's plenty of words that we could use to describe a huge percentage of people right now.
It's hard, like, because I see it in every fucking business. But when my daughter works, they're having a hard time. They're short staffed. They had like 4 people call out one freaking day. My daughter, one other employee, had to manage the whole day. Or the McDonald's. I hate to throw them out. I'm going to hate to do this. We were just talking about McDonald's. There was a post on Facebook for the local McDonald's here. They had cockroaches within the fry thing with the bin. An employee made a post about it. You know, it's a food business. You're going to have it. I guarantee.
Well, you're going to get bugs everywhere. But the problem is whoever's working there doesn't give a shit enough to do the cleaning properly.
And that's the problem. They're hiring. Unfortunately, some of the people we are currently hiring are people who do not give a shit about a business. I can tell you right now, almost
they want money, but they don't want to work for it.
Exactly. They're working for the paycheck. They're not working to better themselves or better the business. And I've always tell people that when I was management for Aaron Sales and Lease, I was a manager there for a while, to when I own my company. There's 2 different types of people. There's people who want to work for success. There's people who want to work for a paycheck. You got to figure out where you lie in that line, because if you're the person who just works for that paycheck, you're not giving a fuck about the business. You're not giving a fuck about how the business succeeds. And therefore, if you don't succeed with the business, you're not going to succeed. The business doesn't make money. You're not going to get that money. If you ask for that raise, you're not going to get it, because you're not helping that business succeed in order for them to generate more revenue, to pass down some of that extra revenue to you. That's how money is earned. When people cry about freaking raises, how is a business owner supposed to give you a raise if you ain't trying to help that business owner succeed and build on that business in order to generate the revenue to pass down the profits to you? And moment of silence. I'll edit that out.
I mean, it's it's people right now, man. It's hard to convince someone to go to work right now to make a couple $1,000s a month when they've been kind of conditioned lately to not needing to do that. But all of that stuff is going to run out. So I feel like all of the shit that we're dealing with right now, it's going to correct itself, man. It might get it might get worse before it gets better, but these things historically they happen, right? Like if you look over any long enough track of history, you're going to see these types of ebbs and flows in economies and societies, and either America's on the decline right now and we're going to be this generation's Rome, or we're, you know, some shit might turn around and we'll be able to right the ship. I'm as pessimistic as I am. I'm optimistic that all of this chaos will eventually settle. I don't know how or when or what it's going to look like when it does, but unemployment will be low again. I think unemployment will be low again, and I think businesses will thrive, and I think things will be just fine. The mental illness and the mental health, though, I think that's going to be probably an underlying annoyance for a lot of people for a long time,
right?
Unless they figure out a way to get right with themselves. Clean diet, exercise, adequate rest, you know, all the
strength
things
to reach out to. It definitely, it does take strength to reach out to.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's like the step one, right? The hard part is admitting you have a problem, and like that's the hard part, right? Once people can admit that, yeah, I got a little bit of a fucking thing going on with my head, maybe I should go see somebody. Once they get to that point, that's a good thing. Like that's a good thing. Then the recovery can start,
right?
And then they can make it better.
That's it. So as you were talking, John Tibbetts just posted on Facebook over here. It says, since weed was legalized in Maine, the entire younger population is either trimming or trying to grow. They don't want restaurant or retail jobs.
I mean, I agree and I disagree. I agree that, yeah, there's the weed industry is a very, very lucrative industry, and it's, I don't see a problem with it. I like weed and I think that it's a good industry. I think there's a ridiculous amount of money to be made, and I don't see a problem with people wanting to work in that industry. The
takes money to do it though.
I mean,
depends on how
like if you want to do it like super legit, yeah, it's actually not as easy as people think. Like there's a lot that can go wrong with a crop, and you could be out 9 months, 10 months for some bullshit, right? And then like if you get mildew on that, like you just wasted a whole season. Like it can be problematic, pests and blah 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 blah. But the problem is like I don't know. The problem is families are broken. There's no more nucleus families. There's no more like your example, Mark, your family. Like you guys are an example. Like to have mom and dad together, to like have multiple children and to like raise them into adulthood together as a family unit. Like that's not normal. We didn't get that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like 97% of my friends didn't get that. My wife got that, and she's fucking totally level-headed, has a degree, speaks multiple languages. She's just an amazing human being around. And it's like, there's a lot. I can look at my friends who have both parents and like they're out on their own and they're 40 now and their parents are still together. Like those healthy people raise healthy people.
Right.
So like America's like family situation is broken. That's a problem. And that's a problem. It's like, it starts at the home. And I've been like mental health, like all of this shit, like it's multi-pronged, right? But there's a lot of carryover and there's a lot of commonalities. Like it starts with the home. Like racism is taught in the home. Depression, if you have a depressed kid, it's happens, but I feel like it's much more rare for kids
that
to
I
be
believe,
like
that I believe for children, teenage stuff, that's starting from school and social media.
Social media is as amazing as it is. It is a very dangerous, misleading. It's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem because there's too much information being digested too quickly. And we have these filters that make people look perfect, or we have deep fakes. There's just the web is crazy. I love the web. It's amazing, but it's also where its use and how it affects us as a species is still being like, we're learning and we're starting to see what happens. Right. And so like we need to learn how to better use it.
That's it, man. And the web back in the day for us was like fun, man. Like,
yeah, 90s web was like the best web,
right?
The internet was cool.
For all you kids back in the day, this one's gonna be a fun one for me to say.
For all you damn kids,
all you kids, you want to know what we kind of got to laugh at back in the day? And maybe it did gross us out, but we got to laugh at it.
Oh, don't
all you kids right now on this. Oh yeah. For all you kids listening right now, do yourself a favor. I want you to Google 2 girls, 1 cup.
Don't do it.
Comment in the show and tell me what you see.
Don't do
it. But for video games, I want all you kids to check out Oregon Trail. Or where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
For like really old school stupid games?
Yeah, man. Like that was the shit for us.
The Oregon Trail was like
I died so many times in that game.
That was an interesting game.
It was.
That was an interesting game. What were the deaths? What did you die from? Like dysentery or some shit? Or
you died from all like the shit back what they would in the West. You died from the flu. You died from, all that shit.
Like, would it be like Indian attacks? Like, did you?
I feel like that was die from Indian attacks.
I think you could though, right? I mean, I don't know, man. You're in a caravan
trolley fucking thing, and
you're just in a caravan. Yeah. I don't know, man. That seems like a very real way to die back in the 1800s. A few hundred years ago. That seems like.
Oh man! Speaking of dying, the wife belt killed me last night. She literally made me search my house. For those who don't know, we have obviously an alarm system in my house, and I don't remember setting the alarm, but maybe I could have. And I'm sitting there doing my thing. Remind you, I can hear two of the main doors in my house, to my left and to my right. I didn't hear either one of those doors open per se, but my alarm went off. And there's only one other door that could happen to. So I went for my firearm and went downstairs because I didn't know what the hell I was going to walk into. And by the time I cleared my basement door, my wife sends me a text message and goes, "I'm sorry, my butt must have done that." I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like it took me, I mean, it was all probably about 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes time from when the alarm went off to the time that I cleared the basement for me to get that text message. But still, like, really? You're going to have your ass set off the alarm on me?
That was like the most intense focused moments though, huh?
Yeah, definitely was, man. Yeah. Like I had Adriana made sure she shut her door. She was staying secure in there. Zach saw her. He went up to his room, secured his door, and like they were all I was searching. Yeah, it was interesting, man. It was definitely interesting. But to recap to everybody that just came in the show a little bit late or whatever, we're already around 58 minutes, so we're just about ready to kill the feed here. But I do want to say we touched up on Roe versus Wade. If you want to hear about our opinions or what I was talking about for Roe versus Wade, please go back to the beginning of the podcast. It's there. On the secondary note, I did talk about if anybody is a social media content creator or anybody who'd like to help out with this new project that I'm starting, please email me on air at themarkgshow.com. The project I am creating, the name of it's called Second Chance on Life. And I'm trying to gather as many social media content creators or other people that may be willing to help me out in this project where we can help people out or be that listening ear for them so they don't have to take their lives or don't feel like they have to take their life. Because alternatively, and my brother-in-law said it the best way when he was alive, was suicide is the coward's way of dying. And I mean, I couldn't disagree. I couldn't agree with him more. Rather, I almost said disagree. I couldn't agree with him more on that statement. But when someone is on the verge of taking their own life, there is a moment that they can be helped, and they can be helped. It's a matter of them reaching out. So publicly, I'm putting out there, if anybody ever needs an ear to listen to, I am here. Granted, you don't have my cell phone number, but you can contact me any messages throughout any of my social media platforms. I do respond to them. Or hell, I'm on TikTok a shit ton lately. You can jump in my live, say I need to talk, hit me up, and I will definitely get back to you. But as far as that project goes, Second Chance on Life, it will probably be about a week or two before I'm able to get everything up and going and figure out how I'm going to create the website. And when I do, you folks on the Mark G Show and on TikTok and all the social media platforms will know what we can do as far as getting it going. If anybody would like to help with that project, though, please, once again, email me on air at themarkgshow.com. And yeah, man, we live crazy lives. We live a crazy fucking world. But in all the end, as long as we're living and we're making the next day, it's a beautiful fucking day, and it means we just got to keep pushing, man.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, life gives you lemons. And what's that saying go? If life gives you lemons,
paint them shits gold.
There we go. That works. I forgot the phrase. No, man, that's all I really got to say, brother. You got
life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
There we go. That's it. You got any final words or anything you want to say out there tonight?
No, I think we covered it today.
Sweet. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for everybody joining in the Mark G Show. I appreciate everybody that came out today, especially all the activity that we got on Facebook, YouTube. I appreciate you guys commenting. That is awesome. That shows me that we actually do have listeners. So these two idiots feel kind of happy that we do this podcast. Also, anybody wants a Mark G sticker and one of our barcodes that people can scan to find out more about our show, please let me know as well, and I will ship it out to you for free. I'll send you out a sticker and a barcode to put on your vehicles or whatever you want to stick them on.
$3.90 free.
Yeah, free, man. I got to get the word out about the Mark G Show. I'll catch y'all later. Stay safe.
You've been listening to the Snowflake Melter, the Mark G Show. Mark is your everyday hardworking business owner that loves America, and he certainly doesn't mind telling it like it is. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. To send an email, it's on air at themarkgshow.com. And find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Mark G Show. See you next time.